The grand ballroom of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California was filled with dignitaries, political analysts, and an eager audience buzzing with speculation. Tonight, an event unlike any other was set to unfold. An event that no one had anticipated, yet one that would be talked about for generations. Seated at the center of attention was none other than Barron Trump, the youngest son of President Donald J. Trump. Tall, composed, and exuding a quiet confidence, Barron had, for most of his life, remained a private figure, shielded from the relentless media scrutiny that followed his father and siblings. But tonight, everything was about to change. The event was organized to commemorate the future of American leadership, featuring speeches from esteemed leaders, intellectuals, and business moguls. No one had expected Barron to take the stage. His presence was assumed to be a mere formality, a show of familial support. Yet, as the final speaker was announced, the entire hall fell into a stunned silence. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce a young man who has spent most of his life in the corridors of power, watching history unfold firsthand. Tonight, he steps forward to share his vision for America's future. Please welcome Barron Trump. A moment of hesitation filled the air, but then the audience erupted into thunderous applause. The cameras zoomed in as Barron rose from his seat, adjusted his suit, and strode confidently toward the podium. Even those skeptical of his presence found themselves holding their breath. As he reached the microphone, the room fell completely silent. For the first time, Barron Trump was about to speak. Not as a boy in the shadows, not as the son of a president, but as a voice of his own. He took a deep breath, gazed out at the audience, and spoke his first words. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Americans, tonight, I stand before you not as the son of a leader, but as a young man who believes in the future of this great nation. A ripple of surprise ran through the crowd. His voice was deep, steady, and articulate, an unexpected contrast to the quiet persona the world had known. The audience leaned forward, eager to hear more. For years, I have watched and learned. I have seen the struggles of hardworking Americans, the hopes of dreamers, and the challenges of leadership. Tonight, I want to share a vision of unity, of innovation, and of a future where the American dream is not just a story of the past, but a reality for every generation to come. A murmur of approval spread across the hall. Barron paused, letting the weight of his words settle. Then he continued. We are at a crossroads. The world is changing rapidly, and the choices we make today will define our destiny. We can either embrace division or we can come together. We can either cling to outdated ways or we can lead the way into a new era of progress. And I believe deep in my heart that America's greatest days are still ahead. At this, the audience erupted into applause, some even rising to their feet. It wasn't just the words, it was the conviction with which he spoke. For the first time, the nation saw Barron Trump not just as a son of power, but as a force of his own. The first 5 minutes of his speech had already ignited a spark. But he was just getting started. As the applause settled, Barron Trump took a moment to scan the room, his piercing gaze meeting those of political veterans, business leaders, and everyday citizens who had come with no expectations only to find themselves captivated. He leaned slightly forward, his tone growing even stronger. We must ask ourselves, what kind of country do we want to be? Do we want an America where division dictates our future, where our differences are exploited instead of celebrated? Or do we want an America that unites, innovates, and leads the world once again? He let the question hang in the air for a moment. No one moved. My father always said America does not bow to anyone. And he was right. But America should also not bow to fear, to complacency, or to the belief that we are anything less than the greatest force for good in history. The audience, which had expected perhaps a polite, measured speech from a young man untested in the arena of politics, was now witnessing something else entirely, a moment of transformation. Barron was not just speaking, he was commanding attention. I have seen firsthand the power of leadership, the choices that shape a nation. And I know that true leadership isn't about power. It isn't about wealth. It isn't about titles. True leadership is about service. A few heads nodded in agreement. Some skeptics leaned forward, intrigued. We often talk about making America great, but what does that really mean? To me, it means empowering our youth. It means restoring faith in our institutions. It means investing in our future rather than clinging to the past. Now, the murmurs were turning into cheers. The room, once skeptical, was shifting, a rallying behind his words. He continued, his voice unwavering. I look at my generation and I see brilliance. I see potential. But I also see frustration. I see young Americans burdened by student debt, by political division, by an uncertain economy. They wonder if their hard work will ever pay off. They wonder if their voices will ever matter. And I'm here tonight to say, yes, you matter. And yes, you can shape the future. The applause was growing louder, and now some of the attendees who had entered the event with doubt found themselves fully engaged. Barron was no longer just the son of a sitting president, he was making a case for a new era. We live in a world where technology is changing faster than ever before. Artificial intelligence, automation, space exploration, these are not just challenges, they are opportunities. We have the talent, the drive, and the innovation to lead the world in every field. But we must embrace that future, not resist it. He stepped forward slightly, raising a hand for emphasis. Imagine an America where every child, regardless of background, has access to the best education, the best resources, and the best opportunities. Imagine an America where entrepreneurs are not suffocated by red tape, where workers are empowered, and where our economy is built on innovation, not stagnation. The crowd roared in agreement. Some stood up. Others clapped, nodding to each other in amazement. This is the America I believe in. An America that does not fear change but creates it. An America that does not divide but unites. An America that does not just remember its past but defines its future. He took a deep breath and looked out at the sea of faces, some smiling, some stunned, all listening intently. And that future starts with us. Right here. Right now. The room exploded in applause, this time thunderous and unwavering. The energy was electric. People were not just clapping, they were believing. In just 10 minutes, Barron Trump had turned a quiet evening into a defining moment. And yet, he wasn't finished. The applause thundered through the hall, but Barron Trump did not bask in it. Instead, he stood firm, his expression composed yet intense. As the cheers faded, he leaned into the microphone and spoke again, his voice softer now but just as powerful. I know that some of you may be wondering, why me? Why now? After all, I have spent much of my life in the background, away from the political spotlight. But let me tell you this, America does not belong to politicians. America belongs to the people. The room grew eerily quiet. Even the most seasoned political strategists were listening with newfound curiosity. For too long, we have allowed politics to divide us. We have allowed personal differences to become national crises. We have allowed social media and headlines to dictate how we see each other. But America is not built on division, it is built on unity. It is built on hard work, faith, and the belief that no challenge is too great when we stand together. A few people in the crowd shouted in agreement. Others nodded, absorbing his words. Barron continued, his voice steady. I have seen my father lead this country with strength, with resilience, and with an unwavering belief in the American people. And whether you agreed or disagreed with him, one thing was undeniable, he never backed down from a fight for this country. Some in the audience clapped while others remained still, listening intently. Barron wasn't here to repeat old political battles. He was here to shift the conversation. But tonight is not about the past. Tonight is about the future. It is about the country we want to build together. Because no one person, no one party, no one ideology has all the answers. We must listen to each other. We must respect each other. And we must work together if we want America to remain the beacon of hope for the world. Now, the room was beginning to stir with energy again. Barron could see it, people weren't just hearing his words, they were feeling them. I am not here to talk about left or right. I am here to talk about what is right. And what is right is an America where we uplift each other instead of tearing each other down. What is right is an America where every child, no matter where they come from, has the opportunity to achieve greatness. What is right is an America where we do not settle for being good enough, but instead strive for greatness in everything we do. The applause began to rise again. Some in the audience were on their feet now, moved by the unexpected power of his words. I do not stand here tonight as a politician. I stand here as an American, just like you. And I believe in this country with all my heart. His voice grew stronger, more commanding. I believe in an America that stands together, not apart. I believe in an America that leads the world, not follows it. And I believe that if we are willing to set aside our differences, work together, and fight for a better future, there is nothing we cannot achieve. The standing ovation came suddenly, a wave of energy sweeping through the hall. Some people wiped tears from their eyes. Others looked at each other, almost unable to believe what they had just witnessed. Barron Trump was no longer just the son of a president. He was a voice for a new era. And he was just getting started. As the standing ovation continued, Barron Trump took a step back, letting the applause wash over him. But he didn't smile. He didn't soak in the praise. Instead, he waited for the noise to settle, for the room to come back to him. And when it did, his next words stunned the crowd into silence once again. But words are not enough. The applause stopped. People blinked, caught off guard. In this country, we have heard too many speeches, too many promises. We have listened to politicians tell us what we want to hear, only to watch them return to business as usual the next day. That is not leadership. That is not action. That is not the America I believe in. Now, the murmurs returned, this time filled with respect. Barron wasn't just inspiring the crowd, he was challenging them. The future does not belong to those who simply talk about change. It belongs to those who demand it, fight for it, and create it. And tonight, I am not here to just give a speech. I am here to issue a challenge to myself, to you, to every American who believes in this country. We must be doers, not just dreamers. The audience hung onto his every word. No teleprompter, no carefully rehearsed political rhetoric, just raw conviction. I look around this room and I see leaders. I see entrepreneurs, teachers, doctors, students, parents, all of you with the power to shape the future. And my question to you is this: what are you willing to do for the future you believe in? The tension in the air was electric. Are we willing to stop fighting each other and start working together? Are we willing to build an economy that rewards hard work instead of crushing ambition? Are we willing to invest in our future, not just in technology, but in people? More nods. More claps. More belief. If the answer is yes, then it starts today. Right here. Right now. Not next year, not in the next election cycle, not when it's convenient, but now. A roar of applause erupted. Barron Trump wasn't asking for support, he was igniting a movement. My generation has been told that we are entitled, that we are lazy, that we don't understand sacrifice. But I reject that. We are not weak. We are strong. We are capable. And we will prove it. The younger members of the audience rose to their feet, fists in the air, cheering with a passion few had ever seen before. America is not great because of its leaders. It is great because of its people. And if we, the people, refuse to settle for less, if we choose to rise up and demand the country we deserve, then I promise you, we will stun the world. The energy was overwhelming now. The entire hall was on its feet. Some people had tears in their eyes. Others were chanting. And at the center of it all, Barron Trump stood tall, no longer just the son of a president, but a leader in his own right. The energy in the room was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. The applause was deafening, but it wasn't just noise, it was belief. It was conviction. It was the birth of something new, something powerful. Barron Trump stood before the crowd, unmoved by the spectacle unfolding before him. He wasn't here for applause. He was here for action. As the cheers settled, he leaned into the microphone once more. His voice, now softer but no less powerful, cut through the room like a blade. The world is watching us. Silence fell again. They are watching to see if America will rise or if we will fall into the same traps of division and stagnation. They are watching to see if we will lead or if we will surrender our place as the greatest nation in the world. And I refuse to let us fail. His tone grew sharper, more intense. But let me be clear, this is not about me. It is not about my name. It is not about my family. This is about something far greater than any one person. This is about all of us. The crowd, hanging on to his every word, leaned forward. For years, we have allowed the media, the politicians, and the so-called experts to tell us who we are. They tell us we are divided. They tell us we are weak. They tell us we are losing. But they are wrong. A thunderous roar of agreement erupted. America is still the greatest force for good in the world. We are still the land of opportunity, the home of innovation, the defenders of freedom. But greatness is not given, it is earned. And tonight, I stand before you to say it's time to earn it again. A chant began. USA! 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 It started in one corner of the room, then spread like wildfire. Soon, the entire hall was shaking with patriotic pride. Barron Trump smiled, but not in victory, in determination. This moment is bigger than politics. It is bigger than party lines. It is bigger than left or right. This is about the American spirit. And the American spirit is unstoppable. He paused, letting the moment sink in. So, my challenge to you is simple. Don't just believe in America, build it. Don't just talk about change, be it. Don't just hope for a better future, fight for it. A final wave of applause erupted, but this time it felt different. It wasn't just approval, it was a call to action. Because when history looks back on this night, let it say that this was the moment America remembered who it was. This was the moment we refused to be divided. This was the moment we stood up together and said our best days are still ahead. The audience lost control. The entire hall was standing, clapping, shouting, energized beyond measure. As Barron Trump took a step back, he saw it in their eyes. He had not just given a speech, he had started something. And from that moment forward, nothing would ever be the same.